Well, all the talk when the Sunrisers Hyderabad are in action are about David Warner or Kane Williamson or Johnny Bairstow. When it comes to their batting, they'll be delighted that most of this show is going to be about Abhishek Sharma and Priyam Garg, who've managed to bring the Sunrisers back from a bit of trouble in the middle and give them at least something to bowl at. 164 for 5 is what Warner's team ends up with, courtesy of the efforts of 19-year-old Priyam Garg and 20-year-old Abhishek Sharma. Together, their combined age doesn't match up to the individual age of either Deep Das Gupta or Ajit Agarkar. And we're going to discuss this game on Whirlpool presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout powered by Dell. I'm trying to keep a straight face. And I will again go to Deep first because Ajit will have a very nasty comeback for me. That was fun to watch two young guys. I saw your tweet. That was fun, wasn't it?
It was. Listen, I mean, IPL for me is all about looking at these youngsters coming through and how they manage against quality, bowlers or international bowlers in that kind of an environment, under pressure environment. And listen, Priyam Garg was absolutely brilliant. And not just Priyam Garg, even Abhishek. I mean, losing 4 early wickets, all those big names back into the pavilion. They were absolutely phenomenal, both of them.
Yeah, we say this, Ajit, that this 5-6 is perhaps the hardest place to bat in T20 because either you come in with too few balls or you come in after a bit of a collapse. And that's what happened today. They lost 4 wickets inside 11 overs, including back-to-back wickets of Warner and Williamson. How good is that partnership looking at that?
Yeah, really good. I didn't look like at one point they'll end up getting 140 or so. And worse is when you don't want to say run out, or Williamson run out with him, that's got to make you feel even worse. And then to come out and play the innings that they did, sloppy from CSK towards the end of that innings, a no ball, a couple of drop chances, but these two thoroughly deserve what they've got, and they've at least given Sunrisers a chance, more than a chance, which at one point looked like it'll be an easy total for CSK to chase.
Did you at some point feel, Deep, after the Williamson wicket and Warner and Williamson back-to-back, that CSK took it a little easy? Ajit mentions the word sloppy. They almost allowed Abhishek and Priyam Garg to come back into it.
To a certain extent, yes, but I wouldn't really say so. I think that would be taking away credit from the two youngsters, what they did. I think they paced that innings also very well. If you look at it, I mean, it was Priyam Garg going run a ball. It was Abhishek who was taking chances. And once Priyam was set, then obviously he took over. But yeah, that over from Sam Curran, I thought that was a poor over. I think went for 22, I believe. But that was a poor over. I think that kind of changed the momentum as far as SRH is concerned.
That you look at batsmen sometimes, and you think they're looking to just clear their front leg and hit sixes over mid-wicket. We didn't see that from these two, though. Abhishek Sharma had a boundary of Dwayne Bravo over the offside infield. You had Priyam Garg, who was using the field against Sam Curran. That has its own charm. Tell you something about the batsmen themselves?
Yeah, which is what you want to see from young players. It's that's the thing you want to see. You try and play on the merit of the ball. There's still value. If you hit normal cricketing shots, you don't have to slog every ball. They had a little bit of time to play themselves in, which was nice because it can sometimes be a little bit daunting batting at those numbers. But it's another example that if you can play decent cricketing shots, there is still value because the pitches are still good, and if you can play proper shots, you will find value, and there'll be a lot less risk taken.
Yeah, it seems like a story of redemption given Sunrisers were in trouble, Deep. But if we just look at the end of 20 overs, 164, would MS Dhoni still take that?
I think yes. I think on that surface, it seems from the outside like a pass score. I think CSK would have, but obviously, I mean, they had them on the floor there. 4 wickets for nothing. I think it was 60 odd on 11 overs. I think they were expecting around 140 or whatever, but I think 164 is a pass score, and especially for SRH, the way they performed, the bowlers, especially in the last game, I think it's going to be a handful.
You go with that, Ajit, par or slightly above par, slightly below par?
I think they would have liked another 15 runs. 10 or 12, 15 runs, somewhere there. I think CSK will be happy chasing that, but they'll have to play well. I don't think it's a gimme, even though SRH have 5 bowlers predominantly, and you've heard Samad might bowl if needed, but we don't quite know what quality of bowling that would be. Uh, so I think CSK would take it, but they'll have to bat well to get that. I don't think they can just turn up and think that this is a very gettable score. It's certainly given SRH something to fight with.
Yeah, I mean, all the conversation is essentially top heavy deep for Sunrisers. If they do end up on the right side of this result, and if
Huge.
this is a turning point for their middle order, all of a sudden the strength and the balance of that team looks completely different, doesn't it?
Huge, absolutely. Even if they don't, I'm saying even for example, I
Okay.
mean, if CSK does end up chasing down this total, I think the confidence that the team management would have got, obviously the players would have got, is huge. And again, going back to what Ajit just mentioned, it wasn't slogging. Both Abhishek and Priyam Garg, especially, it wasn't slogging. So, and they got the opportunity to play 9 overs, and I think they played it really well. They paced the innings really well. They played more orthodox shots, taking less risk. So there's a lot to be happy about with the middle order now.
No, this
The
is sorry, Rod,
yes,
this is what franchisees feel happy with. When you back young players or young Indian players in particular, and then you sort of reap dividends in a very, very tricky situation. 69 for four, I think, after
Yeah.
11, you end up with 164. That's got to give them a lot of confidence, particularly at a. That's probably the area where Sunrisers feel that they are not as strong as maybe their top order, or even if they're bowling. So that was the area. So it's a huge positive for them.
yeah, and as we just do an assessment of CSK's bowling, Ajit, first thoughts on Shardul Thakur and Dwayne Bravo from their first 20 overs of cricket?
Yeah, I mean, good. Both of them figures are okay. That no ball, I don't think Shardul would be happy with that. It could have easily cost them a lot more. Fortunately, he came back, which showed good temperament to actually bowl a decent over even after that.
Yeah.
Uh, like I said, couple of sloppy pieces of fielding from. I mean, Ravindra Jadeja, we don't see him drop too many, or we haven't seen him drop too many in his career. He drops one. So apart from those, I think Bravo looked okay. Didn't get a wicket, but looked okay, which all that experience, even not have had cricket for a few weeks, looked okay. And Shardul looked quite good, especially earlier on when he came on, and a really good finish in that last over. So positive signs for Chennai as well.
Okay, I know y'all are at Abu Dhabi, but I need to try and speculate and tell me from all your experience of playing and watching, why are there so many catches going down in Dubai? Who wants to take this? Deep.
Okay, I'll tell you what. I think there's definitely has to be genuine issue with sighting the ball. I mean, it can't be like every game at Dubai they're dropping 2-3 catches, and from good fielders. I mean, Jadeja dropping catches. I mean, it's kind of unheard of. So there has to be some kind of an issue. But all I can say is maybe they should practice more under those lights there. Obviously it's difficult, but you somehow have to manage it then.
Deep. Sorry, Ajit.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be an issue. That's why, I said the other night that KKR was so good. They took everything that came their way, didn't drop a single catch. And look, as much as I think people will have to get used to it. Whether it's a genuine case with the lights, somebody should ask the captain the question at the end of the game, because there certainly is some problem. We don't know whether it's a light or not. And if
Hmm.
multiple teams are having it, it can't be just bad fielding. Even having said so, as a team, you would not be happy dropping those catches.
All right. Kevin Peterson mentioned something I remember in one of the games about new placement of these LED panels in the ground as well. Whether that's making life harder. Be interesting to see what the players think if they're asked at some point sooner or later. Let's talk about the chase now. If this is a game that Sunrisers have to make 164, Ajit, they've got to get everything right. Again, they have just 5 bowling options. 8 overs have to come from Rashid Khan and Abhishek Sharma. From the evidence of what we've seen, spin, any additional assistance. Chawla didn't bowl out. Jadeja bowled just 2. But Sunrisers need their spinners to show up.
Yeah, I mean that is their strength. I mean, not so much Abhishek Sharma, but Rashid Khan's
Yeah.
4 overs will be crucial for them. So, but they've got to start well. I think if the new ball, Bhuvi and Khalil, if they can prize out a couple of wickets, like what CSK was able to do, get wickets, that will put a lot of pressure on a batting lineup which is not so confident, particularly in the middle. So, Watson's not been in great form, so there's always a chance if you can get it right up front. But they'll need to keep sort of ticking or taking wickets at regular intervals to keep putting that pressure, because it's a decent score. It's not an easy score for CSK, but Sunrisers will have to keep picking wickets.
Hmm. Watson and Faf have come out deep. No surprises there. I do at 3 then, and that's the batting order.
Fair enough. Yeah, I mean, but again, for SRH, it's imperative to pick up early wickets because Rashid is a different bowler when the batsman's attacking him, right? So the bowlers up front has to create that kind of an environment in terms of either making sure that the asking rate goes up substantially, or there are early wickets. Then I think Rashid is a different bowler. But if they do get to a good start, CSK, then things can get a little comparatively easier. So, but yeah, I mean, Watson and Bhuvi's in swingers. I mean, that's going to be interesting.
Right. A perennial question now: when CSK bat, where does Dhoni bat, and when would you like to see him come in? Are we going to see a Karin or a Jadeja come up? They have an extended batting order today with Bravo and Shardul. Ajit, when would you like to see Dhoni in?
Maybe he doesn't want to bat. Maybe the top 3 pays it down for CSK, so we don't have to discuss it. So I don't know. I mean, it'll all depend on how the situation goes. I don't think he should still be batting lower than 5 for me.
Yeah.
I just don't think it makes any sense for him to come number 7. But we'll find out.
Same here. I think, and especially when your asking rate is 8, I think definitely yes.
All right, Deep, Ajit, let's pick this up at the end of the game on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket Info T20 Timeout. It's a big one. The winner of this game picks up 4 points. The loser ends up with just 1 win out of 4. So both teams will be looking to avoid that. Let's see how this game goes, and do join us for post-match comments.